Welcome back, my second grade readers. I hope you enjoyed watching and listening to the Town Mouse and the Country Mouse. Hopefully you came up with a moral or a lesson that you could have learned from the story. Mine was be happy with what you have in your life. If you had the same one, go ahead and give me a me too. If you had something different, that's great. And two, it doesn't have to be the same as mine. That's the great thing about these fables. Everyone can learn something different. So let's continue on with our exploration into fables. So think about a time you made a mistake or you did something you shouldn't have. Uh-oh. Did you learn a lesson? Did you ever think, I'll never do that again? Oh my goodness. And what lesson did you learn from that? Well, if you can't think of anything, Miss Palmer thought of something from when she was younger. And mine was being in too much of a rush to tie my shoes. And I actually just pushed my shoelaces into my shoes. And then I went to go down the stairs to leave. And my shoe kind of flopped off in the back. And I fell down the stairs. And I thought, holy mackerel. Once I got up and I had bruises on me and oh my goodness, I was so shaken. I actually thought, well, I think I've learned a lesson here. I need to slow down and tie my shoes before I go down the stairs again. So do you have something that you could share as well that was similar where you learned a lesson? I bet you could. All right, so authors write stories because they want you to learn a lesson from their characters' mistakes or choices. The author wants you to be better people. So today you will read a fable to find out what the lesson the author wants you to learn is. That's one of the great things about fables. So before we get started, let's do a little short passage and make sure that we understand what it is that we're supposed to be learning from these short fables. So here we go. Let's read this together. Leah accidentally dropped her lunch in the cafeteria. Tommy pointed and laughed at her. The next day at lunch, Tommy accidentally drops his lunch tray. Leah got up from her seat and helped him clean up. What is the moral or the lesson to be learned here? Let's take a look at a few that I've written down. Number 1, never lie. 2, 2 wrongs don't make a right. Number 3, be kind toward others no matter what. Or treat others the way you want to be treated. So go ahead, take a minute. Think about which lesson the author wanted you to learn or the one that you think is the best choice. 1, 2, 3, or 4. Did you pick 1? Probably not. That's probably not the best moral for this short passage. Did you pick 2? 2 wrongs don't make a right? Maybe you picked this one. Did you pick 3? Be kind towards others no matter what? Maybe you picked this one. Or did you pick 4? Treat others the way you want to be treated. Maybe you picked this one. And you know what, my friends? That's the great thing here, is that it could have been any of these. And it depends on what the lesson or the moral is that you learn from your story. So, we're going to take a look today at Aesop's fables. Who is Aesop? Aesop is the name of a man credited as the author of a collection of fables. It is believed that he lived from about 620 to 560 BC and that he was a slave who lived in Greece. Others, however, say he came from Ethiopia. It is said that he eventually became a free man. So, my friends, these fables were written a really long time ago. And it still is so interesting to me that the lessons, the life lessons that you can learn from these fables can still be connected to our lives today. All right, so let's take a look at one of his fables, The Crow and the Pitcher. So go ahead and listen as I read this to you. One hot day, a thirsty crow flew all over the fields looking for water. For a long time he could not find any. He felt very weak and almost lost all hope. Suddenly he saw a water pitcher below the tree. He flew down to see if there was any water inside. Yes, he could see some water inside the pitcher. The crow tried to push his head into the pitcher. Sadly, he found that the opening of the pitcher was too skinny. Then he tried to push the pitcher to get the water to flow out, but the pitcher was too heavy. The crow thought hard for a while. Then, looking around it, he saw some pebbles. He suddenly had a good idea. He started picking up the pebbles one by one, dropping each into the pitcher. As more and more pebbles filled the pitcher, the water level kept rising. Soon it was high enough for the crow to drink. His plan had worked. All right, so let's answer a few questions about this fable. How would you describe the crow? Well, I'm thinking if I look over here, the crow tried to push his head into the pitcher, but the pitcher was too skinny. Did he give up? No. Then he tried to push the pitcher to get the water to flow out, but it was too heavy. Did he give up? No, he sure didn't. So then he thought for a while, and then he came up with a good idea. So a character trait that I would think of to describe the crow is determined. The crow is determined. So which character had the problem? Well, there's only one character in the story, and did he have a problem? He did. His problem was that he was really, really thirsty. And then he had another problem, didn't he? He couldn't get the water out of the pitcher. So who had the problem? The crow did. What was his problem? The crow was very thirsty. He was near death. He was so thirsty. How did he solve the problem? Well, if I look down here, if I look here, he didn't solve it here. He couldn't get his beak into the pitcher because the pitcher was too skinny. He couldn't knock it over because it was too heavy. But he had a good idea. He started picking up pebbles one by one, dropping into the pitcher. And as more and more pebbles filled the pitcher, the water level kept rising. Soon it was high enough for him to be able to drink. So let me think, my friends, do you think that could really happen? Well, I found this great video of a crow dropping items into a flask, almost like a pitcher of water. Let's see what happens. Could this plan work? Take a look. So watch, he's trying to get that little piece of food out of the water. He's dropping items into the flask. Is the water rising as he's doing that? Let's see if he finds success. He did! He was able to get it. Here he is again with some different types of items. Still, he's not able to reach it, but he drops it in there. Oh, success! He's able to grab his food. So, my friends, yes, he was able to solve his problem. The crow kept putting stones in the pitcher for the water to rise so he could have a drink. So, did the character learn a lesson here? What lesson do you think the crow might have learned? Go ahead, stop for a second and think about that. Well, Miss Palmer said that the character did learn a lesson, the crow. He said, think and work hard. You may find a solution to any problem. So is there a lesson that you can learn from this story, my friends? Even though this fable was written such a long time ago. I bet there is. So Today, you are going to read an Aesop fable. So remember, the focus question is, what can people learn from Aesop's fables? So each of you will be reading a different fable. They are very short. So this is what they'll look like. They'll be on one page in your reading folder. So you'll read your fable, and then you'll need to answer questions about your fable. Now, these questions say, okay, we'll color the answer over in the text red and then answer it over here. You do not have to color it red if you are not able to print this out. You could just get out a sheet of paper and answer the questions. Now remember, when you have a question like this, what happened to the young frog, you're supposed to answer that in a complete sentence, just like Miss Palmer did here. So if you have one like number 2 that says, what was the great big monster, A, B, C, or D, you just have to tell me that it was either A, the ox, B, the cow. You don't have to write all of them down. So the end of your fable, the end of your worksheet, the last question would be, what was the moral of the story? So I want you to write this answer down here for number 7 in a complete sentence, and then I'm going to have a Padlet for you at the end. And then I want you to answer, what lesson did you learn from the moral of your story? I'm actually going to write the lesson that I learned from the crow and the pitcher to start us out. So happy reading, enjoy this activity, and I can't wait to see your results. Have a good week.